hook up to your little booster pack?
Yeah, it's a little charger, just in case. All right, how we doing, everybody? I want to make sure this sound is good. Can everybody hear? Yep, we're back. I just want to make sure everybody can hear what we're saying. The sound quality is good. All right, perfect. So I am here with CJ for our interview. So those of you that pay attention to the channel, we captured a little bit of video of CJ driving around and released a story on the page. And CJ had reached out to us and wanted to have a conversation. So, but he asked that his face not be on camera, so we're going to respect that. So let's keep all the comments professional. My mods are all here and on top of it. So, all right, CJ, start slow here. What's your kind of take here on the protests and things that are going on, not only in Wisconsin, but around the country?
People can protest all day long, but the only way they're really going to get what they really want is by getting Congress back into the courts, so this way they can make new laws. You know, standing in front of buildings and chanting, you know, that's the way some people need to express themselves, you know, that's fine. But walking up and down streets, throwing bottles through windows, taking hammers to businesses, you know, blocking traffic, you know, crossing our lanes, doing donuts in the middle of the streets, you know, harassing private citizens, that's not how you get your word across. All that shows is ignorance. And, you know, standing out in front of a police department, hey, you know, sometimes, you know, people feel they need to get their point across, but there's certain channels that you need to take in order to get what you want across. Violence is not one of them. Harassing other people have nothing to do with it is not one of them. Burning up car dealerships is not one of them. That does not show anything.
Okay. What's your definition of protest?
Protest, if you have a problem with the way the government's doing something, you are allowed to voice your opinion. But there's a way to voice your opinion. You know, standing in front of a building in daylight or however you want to call it, protesting, you know, speaking your piece. You know, I understand that, you know, you have a large group of people, they're going to take up a lot of room, but you need to handle that situation so this way the protesters aren't hurt, or other people that are trying to get through and trying to deal with their day-to-day business. Because there's people that need to get somewhere. I mean, what if an ambulance needs to get down the street because they're trying to go to somebody's house and pick them up? And you got protesters standing in the way. You know, I've seen it hand in hand. I mean, there's certain ways to handle things.
Are you aware that when protesters block the streets, if there is a medical emergency, and this is not in all cases, but in most, they move out of the way?
I haven't been seeing it lately. You know, everybody, it's hard to, you know, it's a double-edged sword how you look at it. You know, everybody wants to make sure to do the right thing. And then, you know, I've seen a lot of protests that were handled very good without no issues. But I also know when people aren't getting heard, they think they need to speak louder. They need to react. They need to show action. And sometimes actions are good, sometimes actions are bad. But you got to keep people in line. If you're going to hold a protest, you need to be held accountable for those people. And if those people are doing wrong, you need to put them in check and let them know this is not what we're about. This is not what we're going to do. I've seen at least 6 protests that actually were pretty decent. Then I've seen 6 protests, well, not 6, quite a few other protests that went completely off the grid, and it just turned into chaos. Chaos is not going to get you hurt. Chaos is going to create action. And sometimes people don't like the way that action comes out.
Right. Do you think it's our right to tell people whose voices aren't being heard how to protest or how to get their voices heard?
Everybody has a different opinion how they see something, how they handle something. Not one person can really tell somebody how to do something. And somebody that is trying to tell somebody how they should do something sometimes isn't the most person to listen to.
Right.
So, there's like, I've seen some people that want to have a protest, they'll actually file a permit to have a protest. And then they'll actually go out, put up barricades to help with this. So this way it keeps the protester safe and the other citizens safe. So this way there's not a conflict of interest. Because somebody's trying to get somewhere, they're going to get heated. And if they can't get anywhere, they get upset, the other person gets upset, and then where does it stop? Somebody running somebody over with their vehicle, people attacking somebody in the vehicle, smashing out their windows. I mean, we've seen it hand in hand all over during this time. And that's never going to get somebody's point across. All that's going to do is create mayhem.
Right. Do you think under the First Amendment that people should or be required to get a permit before holding a protest?
It's another tricky thing, because sometimes you might be going to get a permit for something, and then now you're relying on somebody to give you permission to do something, and you might not like how that person is going to react because they're afraid of what kind of protest it's going to be. Because protests, like I said, the protests have been going good, some have been going bad, and that one person doesn't want to be liable for making that decision. So it's a tricky situation no matter how you look at it.
Right.
It can go good or bad.
Right. Okay. All right. So we obviously, I was out here several days ago. Kind of got out here late. I was in the aftermath of things. Came across your truck. That was your vehicle, right? The 2 American flags flying off
Yes,
the back.
sir, it was.
Okay.
Supporting my country.
Okay. All right. What were you doing out there?
Well, earlier that evening, we showed up to present a check to Oak Creek Police Department because we actually had a truck rally. Now, let me kind of put this into perspective so this way somebody doesn't think rally like, chaos. It was a truck and car event. Because of all the COVID going on, there has been so many things shut down, and we wanted to do something nice. So WTTOE, which is, quote, not the Proud Boys or any affiliation with the Proud Boys. It's just a truck group.
Okay.
And
What's that stand for?
Wisconsin Truck Takeover.
Okay.
And basically how that started, there was a gentleman that started this because everybody being locked down and limited exposure to people still have birthdays. There's still veterans that are celebrating, their 80th or whatever you want to, but they can't go to events, and it's hard to have family members come by. And so this gentleman, he actually put this together, and what the WTTO was doing, they were actually giving out birthday gifts to the kids and then honoring the veterans. So what they would do is they would take a few trucks and have a little parade past the house just to show their consideration and their support for people and understand. And it actually turned into something pretty big. And that's when I noticed it. I was like, wow, it's a group of people taking time out of their day to show support. So I started going to the birthday parades and, the events, and it was a pretty decent group of people. And I'm talking about people that hold truck events to create donations for places. A lot of police departments can't afford K9 units,
Right.
and K9 units are very expensive. And K9 units help out with a lot of different things. So we all got together and we put together this car event, and there was donations, there was raffles put together, anything that we could do to raise money for the event. WTTOE raised over $3,600 and presented a check. to Oak Creek Police Department for the K9 unit, and I actually made a metal sign for them, and everybody in the group signed it, and it was a donation to them.
Okay. Do you think police departments? Why do you think police departments don't have enough money to afford K9 units or other?
Because they have to. Police departments has a lot of things. You know, yes, everybody thinks that they're government owned and they're government funded, but a lot of police departments have to raise money for things. And K9 units get very expensive. I mean, I think it's usually like 20,000 just to be able to get an extra K9 unit with all the support, you know, all the vehicle modifications, everything to transport the dog, plus all the training and the one-on-one. That's a lot of time. I mean, I have 4 dogs of my own, and they can be a handful sometimes.
Yeah, I get that. Have you looked at? So you helped raise money for Oak Creek PD.
Mm-hmm.
Have you looked into how much money Oak Creek Police Department actually gets, and then where their funding goes?
No, we actually didn't look into it too much. That wasn't our primary concern. We actually held the event in Oak Creek because that was the area that was most open for people that would come, because it was 2 bars, one on each side, that allowed their parking lots to be used as the event, and it was very wide open. So this way, when you start getting more inner city events, I mean, because it really didn't matter what police department that the money went to. It was for the K9 unit, and that's what we wanted to do it for. But it was just the area was more open to be able to do it there.
Okay.
So no, we didn't really look into it that much. It wasn't, like I said, it was not our primary concern. We were doing a truck event, and that was the police department that allowed us to have it in that area. So we honored that police department for that favor.
Okay. I'd encourage you to look at police departments in our state and how much funding they actually get, and then where that actual money goes to, how much money is spent on specific things, and see if that changes your mind on anything. I definitely encourage raising money. I think that's a good thing that you're doing. I have another company where we try to do very similar things with fire departments and military foundations and things like that. So I definitely applaud you for that.
Well, I know you obviously looked at some of my Facebook stuff, and you see that I do things for EMT, first responders, the vets. I do a lot of custom signs for all those guys, and you know, sometimes signs get a little expensive.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why they're a donation.
Right.
Yeah, it brings back more revenue. Don't get me wrong. You know, I mean, you know, it helps. You got to be able to have money to make money.
Right.
You got to have money in order to be able to purchase equipment. So, but if you can do something nice for somebody, brighten somebody else's day up, it's worth it in the end.
Sure, I understand that.
Especially in this time.
I get it.
You know, just holding the door open for somebody, you know, it's like, you know, some people are like, wow, this is really nice. So we just went out of their way to do something nice.
Yeah, some of the niceties have gone out the window for sure. For sure. All right, so fast forward to after your event, and you're driving around.
So my flags are still in the back, and I'm on the north side of town where I live. So we were coming up Highway 100, and I noticed a group of my friends sitting over there because they were keeping on stuff. I actually have very many friends that are in the military,
Right.
and right now they're laying down their livelihood and taking time from their families to try keeping this country safe. And unfortunately, sometimes they got to get called out to a mall to sit in the parking lot of a mall. So when we stopped up in there, and at the time we were not aware of any curfew that was out. Now the next time we did realize there was a curfew. It was a 7 p.m. curfew to 6 a.m.
How did you not know there was a curfew in effect?
I really don't watch the news. And it wasn't like it came
But
up.
you're on Facebook, you're on social media.
It was not popped up on the curfew first.
Okay.
And it never came up on my phone either.
So the night of the curfew.
Now, when the should I say it? When the shit was really hitting the fan, you got the Amber Alert on your phone. Now that was, now that lets you know, hey, there's curfew.
Right.
So there was no Amber Alert that went on. It was just for the city of Wauwatosa, from what I understood, because what was going on down the road over on North Avenue.
So the night that you weren't aware of the curfew, that's the night that you and the fellas were in the parking lot?
Hanging out in the parking lot, shooting the shit.
Flying flags.
Well, I had my flags on the back of my truck because I didn't take them down from that day.
And in that video, we saw another gentleman standing on the tailgate, right?
Yeah, he actually had his flag in the back of the truck, and because of the song that was played, he was showing his patriotism. I mean, he wasn't screaming or yelling at anybody. We actually had there was 3 other cars in that parking lot that were blasting "fuck the police" and all kinds of stuff. And that's another reason why the song came on with my buddy's radio, and he turned it up
to try to counter protesters.
Well,
music.
The military people's across. It was not about anything about. It's kind of like drowning out the noise. And the military people were across the street, and he actually, one of the people that was in our group, is military. So he was saluting his brothers, and another guy put his flag up to show honor.
So you're saying that you just went out to show support for National Guard and law enforcement?
When we were in the parking lot, yes.
Okay. And you had no idea there was a curfew?
I did not know. And if you notice, that video was taken from inside my truck, so we never even got out. We sat in the truck and just viewed. And then it was very shortly after that, according as you see on the video, we actually left.
Okay.
And that was the night before we crossed paths.
Yeah. All right. So in that video, you made a comment about putting a red dot on a protester's forehead.
Yeah, I got a laser pointer for my dogs. They chased a laser pointer.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like that, though,
Well,
CJ. It sounds like you're kind of mocking and essentially making it seem like it's okay to shoot somebody in the head. It's what that comment sounds like.
Well, okay, that's another double-edged sword. People can say one thing, and you can have 10 different meanings to one thing that's being said, and it not even be anywhere close. Have you ever?
But based off, but
you're a married person, right?
I used to be.
Okay. You could send a text to your wife and mean one thing.
Sure, and
she could read it a different
taken out of context. I get that, but based off stuff that's on your or was on your Facebook page, you've deleted a lot of stuff. We took screenshots of it all, but things that were on your Facebook page, things you said in that particular video, things you said in the other videos that we aired, it doesn't sound like that was something that could potentially be taken out of context. It literally sounds like you're okay with shooting somebody in the head, shooting a protester in the head.
No. I like to build.
Because you're talking one of the posts you deleted from your Facebook page was talking about how you couldn't wait for The Purge, like the movies, The Purge. It's a post you deleted off your page. It's no longer there.
There's a lot of people that would love to have The Purge, and you know what? The way things are going, who knows where it's going to be at.
But The Purge is talking about killing people. So I would have to assume that the context that we're thinking about a red dot on a protester's forehead.
Well, a purge can mean a lot of different things too. See, you're trying to take some of my words that you saw from the video and make your own assumption.
Okay. How about the comments of "I can't breathe"? So that sounds like, again, mocking George Floyd, or potentially mocking Tracy Cole when she was being arrested. You made fun of protesters for I believe your exact words were, "This is probably why they can't breathe."
Well, I've had protesters point their guns at me just driving down the road for doing nothing except for trying to get around a group of people standing in the middle of the road. Where's my justice for that? I don't see anybody doing a news feed for that to protect their rights for what they were doing. This goes multiple different ways. But did I once in my video say anything about shooting somebody or anything violent towards anybody? No.
Well, you made
My
comments.
videos were fun and games, and I was laughing my ass off and making jokes because a lot of this stuff is to the point it's kind of stupid because no matter how much you go and try to pressure law enforcement on your opinion of things, you're never going to be able to get it to go through Congress until you get the Supreme Court back in the courts. So people can scream and yell until they're blue in the face. You know, the biggest problem with these videos that this news has been showing out, you don't get to see everything from start to finish. You know, there's a lot of body cams on the police officers that aren't shown from start to finish. So people assume what had happened, and people make up their own stories. You know, that's called gossip. You took one of my videos of a bunch of people hanging out, cracking off jokes, and supporting their country. You know, there is
I
nothing.
did take one of
There's
those
nothing
videos
racist about
in the
me
middle of
having-
a curfew.
But there's nothing racist about
I
my
never
white.
said there was anything racist about it.
Your driver made the comment on your thing about.
Don't care what the idiot said. He's not associated with me.
Well, see, that's the thing. You know, it's easy to write off somebody because of what somebody else's action is.
But I'm specifically talking about your actions, your words in your videos,
Right, and I just explained
your
what I
words
said.
on your Facebook page. You're also mocking and making jokes about having weapons and then turning Wauwatosa into Kenosha 2.0. That's my community. Those are my community members
I was
that
talking
died.
about Kenosha 2.0 is that are the protesters going to come and start catching things on fire here? Because they had already rioted Walmart and looted it, which is literally a few miles from my house. So
Completely separate town from where you were at. You were
No, no.
driving around Wauwatosa. You lived somewhere else, which I'm not going to say out
Walmart on
loud.
Silver Spring is a few miles from my house.
Right, but you don't live in Wauwatosa.
Okay, so it's still Milwaukee. Milwaukee.
Right, but I'm saying you were in Wauwatosa. And you made a comment on your video about turning Wauwatosa into Kenosha 2.0. See, the problem...
No, I said... I didn't even say 2.0. There was another gentleman that said Kenosha 2.0.
Well, you said Kenosha 2, and then he said Kenosha 2.0.
Yeah, is this going to turn into Kenosha
And then,
2?
right,
with,
then you repeated
with the
it.
rioting.
Yes, it'll be Kenosha 2.0. See, the problem is if we take...
But I can't turn it into that. I'm not the one out there looting and breaking into people's buildings.
But you guys are driving around with all types of firepower in your vehicles. So you
I
absolutely
have
can.
every right to have a gun in my vehicle. I have
Didn't say you
I can
couldn't.
have a gun on me. I have a CCW and I am legally licensed to carry. I mean, nowadays, unfortunately, some of the areas I got to go and do work in, it's some pretty dangerous areas.
Yeah, I don't blame you for having or wanting to
I have
carry a
friends that
sidearm.
work in places that they shouldn't be working at, and they have to do that every day.
And I get that. But making jokes as a licensed firearm carrier about putting red dots on people's foreheads, waiting for a purge to happen, turning Wauwatosa into Kenosha 2.0.
But I'm
It
not
doesn't-
turning Wauwatosa into Kenosha 2.0.
But do you understand from the verbiage from each one of your videos, all the jokes that you're making fun of protesters for I can't breathe, it doesn't sound like you're not wanting to incite some type of violence.
Well, that's like saying comedians when they make fun of certain actors,
different.
the president, the government, and
It's
people.
different.
So it's okay if you're a comedian, you're making a paycheck from it?
Yes,
Okay, so it's
100%,
different. Okay.
100%.
I don't get that one, but hey, you know, difference.
Because comedians it's satire. It's protected.
And on my videos, I was making jokes. So I guess, okay, I don't get paid. I don't get a comedian paycheck. So I guess my jokes don't apply.
No, I mean you're definitely free to make jokes, but when we're seeing armed militia or armed citizens in these cities, and there's conflict with protesters, I mean you have to admit at least what it looks like on its face value, driving around flying flags. You don't think that's
But it's the American
antagonistic?
flag. What's wrong with driving around with American flag? I know many businesses that drive up and down the street all day that do doors, windows, make deliveries that have American flag stickers on their vehicle. So it's not right for them to have American flags too.
But I get that.
But because my flag flies in the air and it's not a sticker on my car, there's a difference?
No, when you have groups that are associated with white supremacists that are driving around.
What did you see white supremacists? I didn't realize. Were we yelling anything racist?
I didn't say you were a white supremacist.
No,
I'm just saying
I'm
when you have groups that are associated with white supremacy flying flags, it makes it very skeptical on
but
other
it's an American
individuals.
flag.
Yeah, I understand that.
Businesses and car dealerships and everything, they have, American flags. They have the POW flags. They have, but that's not okay now to support your country.
Well, I think anybody should be able to.
I should be able to walk down the street with a flag in one hand and a gun in the other hand, and as long as I don't point it at somebody and don't threaten to kill somebody, I'm within my God-given right.
But what is the point of doing it in front of protesters? It's like you're trying to send a silent message.
Okay, I got plenty of videos on my phone, and I've been to quite a few protests, and at least 50% of the protesters are walking around with extended mags sticking out a 9mm over a foot out of their handgun and strapped with ARs in the front of them. That's a peaceful protest?
Yeah.
So that
why can't hang on a second. Why can't they be armed with guns?
I didn't say they couldn't.
You can,
but
as
I'm
a
being
citizen,
chastised.
militia, people can. No, but you're making it seem like because they have guns during their marches that's not a peaceful protest. Why do you think they have guns? Probably the same reason you carry a gun.
Yeah, but see, I'm not walking down the street holding my gun at people. I actually have video feed of me sitting with my hands in my pocket while they came to a bar that we were at supporting the sheriff.
Why wasn't that uploaded to Facebook?
It actually was loaded to Facebook, but see, a lot of my videos are being pick and chose to turn out what content they want to throw it against whatever actions that we're doing. Because whatever one has the most amount of juice to it.
Well, you took a lot of your content down. Why?
I took that last part down because there was a lot of names that were being broadcast around.
You took all your videos are gone.
4.
I looked at your page.
There's
right,
4.
all your videos from Wauwatosa.
All my gun photos are still up.
I get that.
And there's a big difference between a Blackout 300, which the gun that you've seen in the video, and a 50 cal Beowulf. There was two totally different guns.
Well, you said that's what you bought.
Well, yeah, I bought that gun like over a month ago.
Right. So what am I missing?
Well, in the video you were talking about, this is the gun that's fully automatic,
I didn't say fully automatic.
Binary. But you were
Because
saying
you
in the
said
video,
because you said you were buying a binary trigger.
yeah, binary trigger is not fully automatic.
I understand that. I didn't say it was.
The video I showed
I understand
was a fully automatic vehicle, was a fully automatic gun.
On YouTube.
Now, if I move to Las Vegas, I can have a fully automatic gun. But in state of Wisconsin, which I follow the law, I can have a binary trigger. It's not a fully automatic.
Right, but it's the closest thing.
But that was even the gun that was even. You're taking photos of guns. I mean, I got over 100 guns, and it's within my right to have as
Well,
many
I took
guns as I
your
want.
photo of your gun that you had on your Facebook page. You took the
Which
photo.
was the 50 cal Beowulf.
And then I took the YouTube video for the other gun that you bought that you're getting the binary trigger for.
No, that video wasn't for the one that I got the binary trigger for.
That's what you said on the post.
The gun that I got the binary trigger for was a 6.56 Grendel. Now, the gun that you seen in the video was a 300 Blackout.
Right, but that's not what was said.
And if you notice on
post.
that gun, it wasn't even loaded. The mag was in it, but the thing was open and there was no bullet even in there. So technically, it wasn't armed and locked and loaded, ready to go.
But you also said in your videos that you wanted to load this gun multiple times.
Well,
and your
that's like
fiance
having
said no.
It's like having a garage with having a car parked in it.
Right. So does your CCW allow you to have a loaded AR in the back seat of your truck?
I can transport a gun that's loaded. I can walk down the street with a gun that's hidden underneath my jacket that's loaded.
I'm talking about inside of your vehicle.
Yeah, you can have your. How would you expect to move a vehicle from place to
Loaded
place?
AR. The state of Wisconsin's law says you cannot have a loaded AR. It
You
can be
can-
mounted on the outside, not the inside.
But in the video,
There's no but. What is the law? If you're a
you
CC,
can have a
if you're
loaded gun in
licensed,
your gun. You can have a loaded gun in your vehicle.
pistol, not a long gun. It has to be on the outside, and
You
it has
can-
to be loaded on the outside of the vehicle.
You can have
I may not
a
know
loaded
much about
vehicle.
bullets
You can
and
have
stuff.
a loaded gun inside your vehicle.
Pistol, not a long gun.
No, you can have it. I took my class. I asked all my questions. I actually even got the insurance.
I looked up the law. You can't have a loaded AR in the back of your truck. It can be mounted on the back of the outside of the vehicle, and you have to be on the outside of the vehicle.
Well, technically,
in order to
if
load
you
it.
look at the thing, a 300 blackout is a pistol. Now, a 50
Right,
cal
but I'm
Beowulf
talking
is an
about-
AR.
I'm talking
See,
about-
a 300 blackout isn't an AR.
I'm talking about the two guns that we showed that you said you owned.
Yeah,
And the gun you showed
that
in your
wasn't in the
video.
vehicle. If you
What
look
gun
at
was in the vehicle?
the
In the
300
back seat?
blackout, which is registered as a pistol. Because you want to know how I know? I had to fill out all the paperwork, and all my guns are registered. I don't have any illegal guns.
It was
All
a-
my guns are registered.
There wasn't an AR in the back of your truck?
No, that's a 300 blackout, which is a pistol. According to the state of Wisconsin, that is a pistol.
So it just looks like an AR? What's it called? I'm looking this up.
300
right now.
blackout is registered as a pistol because I had to fill out the paperwork in order to have my guns. They consider that a pistol. Because it's not an AR-10, it's not an AR-15, it's not an AR-12. It's a 300 blackout. It's sold as a pistol.
That thing?
Nope, it's not any one of mine. It's sold as a pistol.
Like that?
Nope.
Well, I'm looking at. I typed in 300 blackout gun, and I'm looking at 300 blackouts. And you're telling me
It's registered as a pistol. Just like you can get the 5.56 like a 300 blackout.
this? Any of those?
That one's
top left.
close, but
Which one?
everybody puts AR because they want assault rifle on it.
Oh yeah.
It's
Which
not
one?
assault.
Which one?
This one's close to it.
This is close to what it looks like. This thing is registered as. So this is similar to the gun that was in the back of that truck,
It's similar.
and that's
And then
registered.
look, it says pistol.
That's registered as a pistol.
It's a pistol.
Okay.
So
that
it's
wasn't
not an AR.
That wasn't the Beowulf.
No, the Beowulf is locked up in my vault where I keep all my guns. Everything is locked up. And I actually have cases where I can take my guns on the plane as long as I check them in down below, but you also cannot transport ammunition on a plane. You can ship your gun on the plane with you, but you cannot have ammunition. And you gotta have a special carrying case.
You didn't say AR in your video?
Actually, I can't say I did, I can't say I didn't, to be honest. But a 300 blackout is registered as a pistol.
You sure that's the one you had in the back of your truck and it wasn't an AR?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had a 300 blackout. Because you want to know? Because if you're looking at video on the mag, it shows American flag on it. Because I did that gun as a Desert Storm. Look. And the gun that you saw, and plus if you look really closely, there's two different sights on both of those guns. The Beowulf actually has a scope.
Well, I mean, it was a very quick shot of the.
Well, it went up and came back down. So, and you
didn't show the whole thing.
Actually,
I didn't edit your videos.
It actually showed from the barrel to the stock twice.
It was like 8 seconds of that gun.
Yeah, but you can push pause.
You said AR in your video, though.
If I did, it wasn't an AR because you saw the gun that was in there.
No, but you told your fiance you wanted to load the AR in the back.
This is we're going to make a funny thing. Okay,
this is
we're
a
going to
pistol.
make.
I'm just wondering why we're asking if we should be loading
something.
ARs in the back of our trucks.
Do I get to say something?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go to my fiance or my wife and you tell them I'm going to get this turbo, which is a 368 dual ball bearing, she's going to look at you and say, "What the fuck are you saying?" Now, if you just say turbo as in general reference, she'll understand.
Right, but we're not making broad general references.
So
we're specifically talking about the firearm that's in the back seat. You said in the video, AR. You didn't call it a pistol. Now in your post,
I guess
your
maybe I
friends,
should have
you
been more
said you
technical for people.
Well,
I'm a vague person.
I kind of definitely not. You're pretty spot on with your words. In your video, you tell your fiance that you really want to load the AR. You've said it a couple times in the video. Now, in your post to your friends, you did mention that you had 2 other pistols in the car. So if this was another pistol...
Yeah, I got a 9mm. I keep in my...
and that's fine. You can totally have that. I get that.
Well,
but you're telling me that the gun that was shown was a pistol, but in your video, you're calling it an AR.
In general reference?
But why is there general reference?
Okay, you say tomato, I say tomato.
But you're a gun owner. You're far more experienced in guns than I am.
It's a pistol, though.
But you didn't call it a pistol. You called it an AR.
Sometimes you say things as general reference.
But if you're telling me today that it wasn't an AR in the back of that truck, and you're telling me it's a pistol...
There was no AR in the back of my truck. Because technically, it's a pistol. And that's what it's registered as through the state when I bought it from the gun shop.
Okay. Why'd you delete all the videos and posts off your Facebook page?
Because it's not too hard to put 2 and 2 together, and there was enough names broadcasted on my videos that when you put it on your thing and you got people looking at yours that are trying to do difference, I wanted to save some people. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I got a lot of friends that had threats put against them.
Well, do you think maybe this could have been avoided by you staying home? And there's a curfew.
Well,
why are you
it could have
out?
been done by somebody that's trying to be a journalist and taking people's videos instead of editing them properly.
I messaged you and I asked you specifically if you'd like to talk to me.
I said, yeah.
You didn't.
I wanted to clear up some things.
Before I released the story, I asked you specifically if you wanted to talk to me.
Oh, because I didn't get back to you?
You ignored me.
You ignored
me.
You went with the flow. Okay, no, that's okay.
But your Facebook is public. So here's my question.
Public to my friends.
No, it's public. I'm not your friend on Facebook. How did I see it? Like today,
because I was going live, and that's how it went out there.
No, I didn't watch your shit live. I watched it from your Facebook page. Same as I can see all of your photos. Same as I can see every video. I can see your truck rallies that you guys go to. I knew what the truck rally was called. I know who all your friends are. Everybody can see that because it's public. So it was okay for you to post all of that stuff and joking about killing people and purges and Kenosha 2.0.
I never once said anything about killing anybody.
Sounds like it though.
But see, that's where you're going. You're going with assumption. You know what happens?
I'm not assuming.
You know what happens when you
assuming? My dad used to tell me that all the time. I'm not assuming things. I'm going based off your actual words from your videos.
But I didn't say anything like that though.
But you're mocking like it's a joke.
But see, that's where you're saying, okay, if I say this, we're going to just assume.
I'm taking the context
we're going to
that
assume that we're meaning this.
I'm taking
and
the
context. Then we're gonna twist it however we want.
I didn't twist
to make
anything,
it
CJ.
Sound more exciting and more juicy.
I didn't twist anything. I didn't twist a single thing. I took your exact words.
But you take, because I said red dot, because I actually have a red dot because we take the dogs to the park and let them run around. and they chase the red dot.
Which is in reference to a laser sighting on a rifle.
You don't use a laser sight on a rifle.
Really?
You use a scope. Now, unless you're doing something stupid, laser sights aren't even accurate. You ever seen a laser sight on a firearm get fired?
Yeah.
It disappears. So it doesn't do you any good.
So you want all of our viewers to believe that your joke about putting a red dot on a protester's forehead had nothing to do with you inside your head wanting to blow that person's head off.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm not out trying to kill people. I'm not out trying to do people harm.
But you're wishing,
and that's the reason why I'm meeting with you.
But you're wishing
to have
for
a
the
peaceful
purge.
conversation.
But it sounds like you're making excuses.
But see, now you're going. It sounds like. There's a lot of things that sounds like.
I know, but we all watched the videos on your page.
And you took what videos I had and twisted them how you wanted.
I didn't twist anything. I played it exactly.
You were trying to lead sheep out to get slaughtered.
Now they're sheep. Sheep to get slaughtered.
Okay, you're trying to lead ignorant people.
Ignorant people?
Ignorance. There's a difference between stupidity and ignorance.
Yeah.
Ignorance can be taught. Stupidity, there's no help for it.
So now the people are stupid.
See, that's where you're going. You're taking my words and you're just using them how you want to.
I'm taking your words from your video.
No, you're taking a word and you're trying to misinterpret.
I didn't misinterpret
what I was saying.
I didn't misinterpret. I didn't take anything out of context. I took your words straight from your videos. So you took red dot.
Now you take red dot.
I'm taking
to
red
the
dot.
whole thing of me supposedly wanting to kill somebody.
Listen, I'm taking. Yeah. You
just said that.
When you have posts,
now you're trying to misinterpret what I'm saying, and you're trying to make up your own words.
When you have posts talking about red dots on protesters' foreheads, when you have posts talking about you can't wait for the purge to come, when you have posts talking about turning Wauwatosa into Kenosha 2.0, when you have posts talking about hang on a second. When you have posts talking about showing highways and the protesters were on the highway, and there's a car falling off the highway, and your post specifically says, "Do protesters fall off as well?" When you add up all of that stuff, you're seriously asking me and everybody else that's going to be watching this video to believe that you weren't seriously hoping for harm, hoping for confrontation, hoping that you had an excuse to pull one of these guns out.
No.
Then why the jokes? Why is it funny though?
You can take a lot of blocks and line them up. Doesn't mean they're going to stack up to anything.
But why is it funny? Why is it funny?
Because what you're trying to do, you're reaching for the stars.
No. I reached for the stars when I was 3. I'm 41 now. Why is it funny to joke around about them not being able to breathe? Because it sounds like you're mocking George Floyd and a law enforcement personnel putting their knee on the back of his neck. Or them not being
if you're trying to make somebody stop moving around and you need to hold them down, I guess,
You don't put your knee on the back of their neck, CJ.
Oh,
That's not even trained in police academies.
Well, sometimes when you got to restrain somebody...
Not on the back of their neck, CJ.
Okay, so maybe he should put it on the back of his butt then, so he could raise up and turn around and get to him?
How's that going to happen?
I don't know, I'm asking a question. You said something, I asked a question. You're taking my building blocks and trying to build a tower with it, but all they are is just blocks.
I didn't build the tower, you did.
If you
if
you have a bunch of blocks with letters on it and you throw it out on the table, you could probably make a lot of different words out of all those blocks.
But I took your words.
But see, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to take what I'm saying and manipulate it to something else.
I didn't manipulate anything. It'd be one thing if I just took individual words or a phrase and then I miscontextualized it, but I didn't. I took the entire video. Every video that you had, plus all the posts that you had, which we didn't even share the posts with the viewers. I screenshotted them. Screenshotted everything on your page.
Okay.
So it all looks like you are wishing harm or death on these people, and you'd like to be a part of it.
But see, that's where your words are. It looks like. It might be. It's this. It's possibly this. It could be this. The sun could fall out of the sky tomorrow and come through planet Earth. I mean, there's a lot of things that could happen. Does it mean it's going to happen? No.
But the scenario of it likely happening is a lot greater when you're out there when you're not supposed to be. So that's my next question. Why is it okay for you and your friends flying flags, promoting the patriotism of the country we live in. Why is it okay for you guys to be out there, but protesters
Didn't say it was.
cannot?
Did not say it was. Okay, if you watch the news and the weather...
But you, hang on. What? Let me just. I'm
You
gonna
just
cut-
asked me a question.
Go ahead,
I'm trying
you're
to
right.
answer.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so when you watch the news, the weather person comes out and tells you it's going to be 60 degrees tomorrow. Do you really believe it's going to be 60 degrees tomorrow? No. Do you go outside the next day to see what the temperature is going to be like? Yeah. So if somebody on the news is telling you something that's going on, are you going to believe it, or would you like to see it for your own eyes and see what's going on?
But it's one thing to come out and be like, "Oh fuck, wow, this is crazy. Let's go back home." You're chasing down protesters. You're following them. You're driving all through Wauwatosa.
Yeah, like
You're like
going next.
you're like looking for the action.
I actually have family that live in that area.
You're looking for the action, though.
Well, yeah.
What makes you?
Maybe I want to be a journalist one day.
I hope so. I encourage you to be one.
Because you got to get some better drivers for what you're doing.
Yeah, my driver wasn't available that day.
And you should get drivers that don't sit there and talk back and possibly get themselves arrested.
That's on him, not me.
But he represents you.
No, he does not. That was made very clear in my videos. It was a viewer that offered me a ride to Wauwatosa, was told to drop me off on the outskirts. They didn't, and was also told multiple times to sit in the fucking car. They didn't. So that's on them. Not a representation of me. Nor my company. I don't behave like that. I don't act like that. I don't. But in your video, you said that these fucking people, this is what you said, these fucking people should go home. They should not be out on the streets.
Yeah.
So if it's not okay for them to be out on the streets, why is it for you and your friends?
Well, there's a difference. I'm actually on the street, not on sidewalks and in people's yards, and screaming and yelling in front of their houses where they feel so in fear they actually need to grab their own weapon and go stand in their front yard to make sure they can protect their family.
They're in fear because there's patriots, Trumpers, militia,
No.
Proud Boys.
I'm talking about the homeowners on my videos that were standing in front of their own houses trying to protect their family because these peaceful protesters, as you say, were coming through their yards, coming down their streets, screaming and yelling and flying up and down the roads.
Where have you been the other 140 days of their protest? They've been out every single day. Do you know how many of
I've
those?
got plenty of video of a lot of protests that went on. I got video of a protest. It got taken down. I couldn't put it back up.
By who?
A gentleman, when they were in Whitefish Bay, I have the video where this gentleman was outside with his dog, and the protesters come flying down the road with his car, and the old man couldn't get out of the way in time and ran over his damn dog. Where's his justice? He was so in fear that his wife was crying on the porch because they couldn't get away. Where's their rights? Where's their justice? They had nothing to do with it. These people are 70 years old. They were looking to retire and pass on.
Did they call law enforcement?
The law enforcement couldn't get in there. They had to stay at a bay because otherwise it was going to be too much of an issue going on. We see what happens when the officers try to stand up and try to divert. It turns into chaos.
Why do you think that is?
Because people are going to do what they're going to do. Now,
do you know how many protests that I've witnessed and filmed where protesters didn't do anything and law enforcement brutally attacked them?
Yeah, it goes both ways. It's a double-edged sword. You know, sometimes it goes good, sometimes it goes bad. You know, what people do is they weigh the odds. Kind of like if you're building building blocks against what I say and trying to stack something up against.
I didn't stack anything.
Well, no, you're taking what I say
tower.
from here. You're taking from
everything.
somewhere.
I took everything you said.
But
in
what
full
you're trying to do,
context from your videos, not my videos. And I didn't edit them. I didn't splice them. I took everything you said in full context. I kept it whole. But I just want to know why in your videos they should fucking go home. And I'm not cursing at you. This is what you said. I'm just repeating your thing. They should fucking go home. They should not be in the fucking streets but you and your friends can't. That's okay.
But
During
we're
the
not-
curfew.
When we're
But
driving
you're
on the
violating
street,
a city
we're
ordinance.
driving in our lane, going down the street.
But
we're
you
actually,
weren't. You were right out here. You were right out here. There was an active curfew. and you
but I
guys
was
were-
driving
No,
in the
talking,
street.
I'm talking about when you guys were standing in the parking lot. There was an active curfew.
We were in a parking lot off the side of the street. We
Active-
weren't
active
going down the.
curfew.
We weren't going the wrong way.
Active
we weren't.
curfew, though. Nobody's allowed out.
I told you the first night. I didn't realize there was a curfew in effect. We were just showing up.
But and then the other nights where you know there's a curfew. So you know there's a
So
curfew.
I took the chance of getting. Actually, the second night that we were out, the police actually came up to us. And guess what? I had my guns in my truck too. And when I gave them my driver's license, I also gave them my CCW. And
Which
he
is
asked me,
responsible.
do I have weapons in the vehicle? I said, yes, I do. He said, thank you for being honest. And they went back. They ran everything. They ran everybody in the whole group to make sure that, and then when they came back, they said, we need to leave or be ticketed. So we left. And I just happened to be going down North Avenue when I seen you guys. And when your buddies yell,
Oh, so
okay, not
just before you saw me, you were stopped by law enforcement.
well, you
With
can't
the-
say we were stopped because we weren't moving. We were sitting still. So we were sitting in the parking lot, and law enforcement came up to us to find out who we are, what we were doing there, everything. They ran.
You didn't record that. You just recorded the. I can't wait to put a red dot on people's
I
heads.
don't put a video on a police officer's face. That's rude.
Is it?
Yeah, it actually is. I have nothing to hide. I was completely honest what I was doing and why we were there. I had nothing to hide.
Why do you think he let you go? But they're arresting protesters.
He was telling a lot of people to leave. He didn't arrest everybody in the parking lot. Other than us, there was 20 other cars. And UW Credit Union, Best Buy. But we were yelling at military people. We weren't yelling at police officers. We weren't doing things
So as long
to
as they-
provoke.
As long as they march on the
An
street
outcome.
and don't say anything, it's okay.
Protesters are provoking an outcome.
What
They want something.
Are they not allowed to?
I didn't say that. When you protest, you're provoking an outcome.
Right. So the point of protesting is to disrupt, to bring awareness, to make you uncomfortable. Right? Civil disobedience. Would you say you were participating in civil disobedience, breaking a city ordinance, violating a curfew?
Well, the second night that we were out, just hanging out, yeah, we were taking our chances of being out there. And guess what? The cops came up to us,
But yet and then told you to go home.
told us to leave.
But yet you drove around.
I had
Tulsa.
nothing better else to do.
So you were told to leave by law enforcement. Would you say that that's a direct lawful order then?
We were told to leave. He said go
as a
home.
lawful
He
order.
said go. He said leave.
As a lawful order.
But see, once you go down North Avenue far enough, you're not in Wauwatosa anymore. You're in Milwaukee. Milwaukee didn't have an ordinance. Wauwatosa did.
When you passed by me, we were in Wauwatosa.
Yeah, because I was heading down to
Both
State
times.
Street to
Both
head
times.
out.
Both times that you passed by me twice. We were in Wauwatosa. So you were told to leave. It's a lawful order. It's curfew in effect.
Well, unfortunately, if you notice from the video, when we were trying to leave, we were heading down to State Street. And then we were going to head out the other way.
But you were driving around Wauwatosa, downtown, where we
Well,
were.
unfortunately, we couldn't go any further down North Avenue because there was a police barricade down there. So then we took a right. If you notice, when you were coming up behind us on North Avenue, we were going to go straight, and we ended up going deviating to the right.
I mean, it still sounds like you're making excuses, CJ. You're driving around Wauwatosa. It doesn't. Some of this stuff's just not adding up.
But do you have proof that it's not? You can assume anything you want in life.
You're telling
I can
me-
assume I'm going to win the lottery on Saturday, but
I know, but
unless I buy a
We
ticket
know
and I
what
pick the
happens when we
numbers,
assume, right? You're telling me that you were stopped by law enforcement or walked up upon. You were given a lawful order to go home or leave,
we were told to leave.
and then
They asked why we were there. We explained everything why we were there. We did everything that we were supposed to do.
and then continue driving around Wauwatosa.
I said I was going down North Avenue.
I wasn't only on North Avenue.
No, you were at the signal light. You came up on my left-hand side when we were at the signal light.
In the car.
Yeah.
But you passed by me again when I was.
So we drove past there, and then I'm going down North Avenue. Then your driver that you were stuck with, your driver that you were stuck with that night because you needed a ride, yelled at me out his window while we were sitting at the signal light and we were still going straight. Never even looked at you guys, never said anything to you guys, and we got yelled at out the driver's side window. Ignored it. Now, if I was somebody that wanted to start shit with somebody, wouldn't I have rolled down my window and said something to him like "fuck off" or something? No, yeah, but I didn't. I'm minding my own business. I'm driving down North Avenue to see what the hell's going on. So as I'm driving down North Avenue, because I also wanted to see how the businesses were doing, if they got any progress, because after the peaceful protest / rioters, or whatever you want to call it, happened, walking down the street.
You can't put slash. There's a difference, right? Just like
Okay, well,
there's a difference
it's a
with
peaceful
you.
protest until people start breaking other people's property and vandalism. Vandalism is rioting.
100%. I agree with that.
Now, as we're driving down North Avenue, your driver started getting right up behind me.
Yeah.
And you know what? I maybe call it a sixth sense, whatever you want to call it. I felt that somebody was following me because the way he was following me close. And if I had been watching your live feed, I would have noticed that you guys were videotaping the back of my truck as we were going down the road, and the way he was talking and how my vehicle looked suspicious because it had American flags.
Well, I said it looked suspicious.
Yeah,
The way you were driving. The way you were driving.
But I was driving straight down the road. I was minding the speed limit. I was staying in my lane, but I had American flags, so that's suspicious.
You were under the speed limit. Yeah, there's like a certain behavior.
Well, yeah, there's road construction going on.
The same as you get alerted to somebody's certain behavior, so do we.
So then as we're coming up to the lights, I looked over the top because obviously I set up a lot higher than you guys do. There's Bearcats down there with North Avenue blocked off. I was like, okay, not going to go that way. So we went down that road.
Right, but see, you're saying that you're just driving around trying to look at aftermath. You're trying to look at a city that's just torn up. But according to your videos, that's not what you're doing. You're not just looking at the aftermath. Me watching my city burn. Hang on one second. Me watching my city burn down, and then going out in the morning to see what happened. That's looking at the aftermath.
Well, that was a peaceful protest, wasn't it?
No, that was a fucking riot.
But it was a peaceful protest earlier that turned into a riot.
There's a difference, CJ.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference between protester and an active riot. There's a complete difference.
The difference is when the lights turn
If there's
out.
not a difference in that, if there's not a difference between protest and riot, then there's not a difference between you just flying some flags on the back of your truck and being a racist white supremacist.
But see, I'm not yelling anything at anybody. I never once said anybody outside.
You don't have to yell things.
Oh.
But we need to be able to.
But you got to yell things to get your point across, though, right?
The point is to make you. The point is to make you feel uncomfortable and disrupt your day, so that you pay attention.
So a white truck with American flags is.
The way you're driving.
But how's it
suspicious?
Okay, define the way I'm driving.
Very slow. It was odd behavior. It was odd behavior. Did you drive by the other night? Yesterday? Drive by the city hall? Does it look like your truck?
No.
Wasn't you? Just another random
No, my
white
truck stands out like a big white tampon.
Yeah, I know. I filmed that too. It wasn't you that drove by last night?
No.
Okay.
Did you see a white lifted truck with black wheels on it?
Yeah, it looked
Do you know?
exactly like your truck.
Did you do your research and find out how many lifted white trucks are in Milwaukee area, in West Dallas area?
No.
I can guarantee I can count at least 30 trucks.
But they're not all flying flags off the back and driving around.
There's a lot of people that's
protests.
got flags. There's America. You got a flag outside your house, right? American flag?
Nope.
No? Okay. So you just kind of like support your country in the
In other
closet?
ways. In other ways.
Oh, in the closet. Okay.
I'm not being ignorant with you.
No, I'm not
I've
trying to be
already told you
ignorant
that I
either.
have other companies that I raise donations to for first responders.
That's awesome. You know, I like to do things behind covers too. I have flags everywhere. And they're American flags. I don't have any rebel flags
Why not?
because That was a government that came up that was still trying to get their shit together.
You believe in the rebel flag?
It was before my time. American flag is my time. And I support the American flag and I support my country.
If it was your time, would you believe in the rebel flag?
Depends on the time.
Well, we're aware of the
see,
time.
we're assuming things. We can't
I'm not
assume
assuming anything. I'm asking
But
you
no.
a direct question.
That's not a direct question.
It is.
Now,
You know what-
if that's all you knew growing up was that rebel flag, and that's the only information that you had to go off of, yeah, you would believe in that. But if you knew now what you didn't know then, different story. So I can't answer that question, honestly.
Can't or won't?
I can't honestly answer that question because I wasn't in that era. The American flag to me is country. It's people standing side by side helping one another.
I agree with that. I can support that. I can get behind that. We all should be helping each other. 100%. There's things you've said tonight that I do not disagree with. But you think I do.
But you know what? Me being out there, yeah, I was wrong. But you know what? I was trying to see what's going on because I want to see what's coming my way and what I should be ready for.
But you don't live in Wauwatosa.
But I wasn't staying in Wauwatosa. I was driving into Milwaukee. And I got deferred because I couldn't go down North Avenue any further.
There's other ways to get home from your truck rally.
There's a lot of different ways. I could probably name.
But you intentionally came to Wauwatosa and then drove
I
around.
drove straight down North Avenue to see
And we're not
what was
just
going on with the
talking about
buildings.
one night. You came to Wauwatosa multiple nights in the middle of an active curfew. But it's okay for you to do that. But the rest of them should go the fuck home.
Do you see me screaming and yelling in somebody's yard? Do you see me stealing generators from police departments? Do you see me
I didn't see
attacking
that.
police officers and screaming profanity at them? Do you see me taking my vehicle, stopping in the middle of the street, shining flashlights at people to make them try to have an accident? I mean, do you see me do that? No. I was a white truck driving around to see what the fuck was going on.
In the middle of a curfew. In a city you don't even live in.
Well, it's Milwaukee County.
You don't live here. So you're trying to justify your own actions and behaviors.
No, I'm actually it's just a comical thing, unfortunately.
There's a lot that sounds comical from your videos that a lot of people, including myself, don't find fun.
Well,
a protest I don't have an issue with. Riots
depends on
and
how you
chaos
look
I
at
totally
something.
understand. But when some of the comments that you've made in your videos, no, that's very alarming. It's extremely alarming. But a lot seems to be funny. These are people that are struggling. These are people whose family members got killed, and it's funny to you and your friends.
I came up from shit. I came up from poor. I came up from dirt.
So did
I had
I.
the same chance as everybody else did. It's not my fault I made a better life for myself because I busted my ass for what I have, and I stand behind my country.
And what about the ones that bust their ass the same as you and I have, and then get killed?
Okay, define the people that busted their ass and got killed. Who's that? Who are you naming?
How about all the names?
Huh?
How about all the names? Jonathan Tubby, Alvin Cole, Jay Anderson,
Alvin
Antonio
Cole. You talking about the
Gonzalez?
kid that got shot over here by Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah, you know who he was.
I know, I'm asking the question. You're talking about a kid that was walking around with a gun and shooting at security.
Didn't shoot at security.
And then shot at an officer.
Didn't shoot at an officer.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he did
Was
not.
you there? Did you see it? No, you got what was told to you by what you gathered for information.
From special
So
investigators.
I wasn't there.
Police reports.
You
everything.
wasn't there. I'm going off the information I got, that I heard about. So we're going off of information that we received. So now we get to make our truth out of it, or what we seen or what happened. So that's the same thing you're doing when you take my videos and assume what I'm doing.
No, it's totally different.
Okay.
It's totally
You know,
different.
you can see it your way, I can see it my way. To me, this is a big fucking joke, what's going on.
Why?
There's a lot of better ways to get your voice to be heard. There's a lot more channels that you can go through if you want to get something really done.
You don't think they're doing that when they're not marching down the streets?
Peaceful protest, yeah. But when the lights go out, it's all fucking chaos.
I was at a protest last night when the lights went out and there was no chaos. I've been at lots of them at night and there's
Well, then
no
that
chaos.
was lucky. Unfortunately, I don't go to every one of them. If I'm out visiting friends and I come through the area, I go see what the fuck's going on.
But you're not just seeing what's going on, you're actively tracking all of this stuff down. You're intentionally coming to these
Well, if you're going to
cities.
see what's going on, you got to track it, right? How else are you going to find it? You got to track it. If you want to go if you go hunting and you want to go shoot a deer, you got to track a deer, right? You got to figure out where it's going.
I love the analogies.
I'm just trying to make it.
I know. I'm connecting all the dots now, the red dots.
Oh, the red dots. I like that.
Yeah, with the
cute.
tracking deers. I get it.
See, there you go. You're trying to take what I say on something, make your own analogy of it,
I'm
and then
just
turn it
curious why
against
some
me.
of this is funny. People are actively dying. My community members died right in front of me. Right in front of me.
Yeah, because it turned into a big ass riot, and people was breaking the law on both sides.
I wish you actually knew what happened down the street.
I actually have friends that lived right in that area. I actually know the owners of that car dealership that got caught on fire, and how they were scared for their lives and tried to put up signs to say, "Please protect my family."
I still wish you knew what happened exactly on that street. I was there, CJ.
The shit went completely wrong over there, and there's a lot of other ways to avoid that.
Who do you think made it go wrong?
Well, if you have one force coming this way and one force coming this way, and they both meet and they can't find the common ground, kaboom, you get explosions.
There wouldn't have been an explosion had the militia not been there. Are you aware that KPD had all of those 150 militia in their sights, surrounded them, and let them continue on while an active curfew was going on? Are you aware that that happened?
No, I did not
in the
know
city?
that.
Yeah, that did happen. So arresting protesters, letting militia just continue to walk by, that happened.
What militia do you speak of?
There's multiple militias that were in my...
I'm asking the question because I don't know.
There's multiple militia that were...
Who?
I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
There were multiple groups that were there. I have the recording. We've put the recording out there of multiple KPD units surrounding 150 armed militia, and then poof, they vanished. Let them go. And then they stationed up. There's also multiple videos of KPD orchestrating with militia and pushing protesters into their arms, and then people died. Are you aware of that?
Well, from what I read, there was only 3 people that died in Kenosha.
Wow.
Actually, 2 people died. 1 person got injured.
Yeah, there's more victims. That's not being told. We put that out there though. But specifically,
But
are you
what
aware?
the sad thing is-
but specifically, are you aware that KPD, that they're on video, orchestrating with militia members and then pushing protesters into militia and then backing away? Are you aware of that?
No, you just told me, and I told you. I said no. I did not know. I did not know that.
Is that okay?
Well, unfortunately, when somebody keeps on doing something a certain way, somebody's going to raise somebody else's attention, and when they get the wrong attention they're not trying to raise, and it reacts upon them, unfortunately, it's a sad thing that happens. There should be a way that this could be settled, but everything I've read and seen, that I don't see it stopping anytime soon. And come November 3rd, I'm really afraid what's going to end up happening.
Why? Because you think Trump's going to get elected?
I'm actually afraid if he does get elected, what's going to happen. If this much chaos is caused up to this point and still keeps on going, just to keep the man from getting elected, and then if he does, what's going to happen then? We're going to have a civil war?
Do you think they're protesting over Trump?
I think it's just another fuel to the fire. I mean, the day the man got elected, people started protesting, walking up the wrong way onto the freeways. I mean, ever since the man got elected, this has just been one big animosity.
Yeah, and the government's attacked him too. Is that okay?
I think he gets attacked almost all different angles.
Pretty much.
But not trying to be... When Obama got elected, I didn't see people walking up protesting. The people that didn't want him to get elected, the streets were clean. I mean, the day that Trump got elected, I mean, there was people everywhere on the streets having temper tantrums and baby fits and causing uproars and violence.
So when the black president got arrested, that was, is that what you're trying to say?
Well, you went with the word black. I just said when Obama, I said a name.
I'm just making sure the inference that you used was...
But see, now you're trying to say that I have...
But you used Obama. I mean, you could have definitely used somebody else.
But he did get elected, right? And there was no issues.
I know,
when Bush got elected, there was nothing going on. Clinton, when he got elected, there was no protesting going on.
I just thought for myself it was funny that you went with the black president when you had all these other presidents you could have chose.
Well, Obama was before Trump. So I was just going down the line, kind of like if you're taking building blocks and trying to say what I'm saying and build your own little case against it.
No, I get it. It's very clever. I get it. But I mean, do you understand why they're fighting, why they're arguing, why they're upset?
Yeah, because they got lost a loved one. And
So
they're holding the police accountable for their loved one being lost. I can understand that.
Do you sympathize as a human being?
Yeah, nobody should have to lose their loved one. It's wrong.
Do you
right?
believe it's 100%.
But it's also wrong if their loved one is carrying a gun and shooting at somebody too, isn't it?
See, I can get behind you on the first part where they were actively committing a crime. Yeah. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I can get behind you on the first part where they're actively committing a crime. They turn and hold a gun, fire a gun. I get that part. But how about when they've already been shot and they're down, face down on their stomachs? Hang on, and the gun is nowhere near them. There is no active threat. And then you have law enforcement walking up and executing them. How about Jonathan Tubby's story? Do you know that one?
No, enlighten me.
I filmed his family speaking yesterday at a rally. You should hear that.
Is that the one that the Jay-Z people were at?
Yeah. I encourage you to watch it and listen to these family members talking and telling their stories. Jonathan Tubby was executed in a police sally. Executed. And then sat there for, I don't even remember how many hours. 15, 17 hours, something ridiculous. Laid there in his own blood, executed. Never had a weapon. He was already in the back of the squad car. In a police cell.
Yeah, it really sucks. I've had some shit happen to me when I was younger. Nobody was there to rescue me. But
you believe
what
in the First Amendment?
What was he doing there? What was he doing wrong to create this?
As far as I understand...
was he just walking down the street playing hopscotch and bam, 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 got shot for doing nothing?
I encourage you to listen to his family.
No, I'm asking a question. I wasn't there. I can't vouch for somebody else. I don't vouch for people I don't know. I make up what I see.
I get it.
I don't assume shit.
All right, so if you're a patriot and you believe in the First Amendment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not stand with these people and show them that you support their First Amendment? And I'm not talking about riots and chaos and fucking destruction. Again, there's a total difference. So if you support the First Amendment and you're a patriot, why not stand with them and show them that you're an ally? Why stand on the side of the street or driving around all,
covert? Because I was not there. I can't say what happened. They're there honoring their loved one that they've had fallen.
What if one of
We
your
weren't
buddies?
there when this happened with that gentleman, when Mr. Cole went down. Now, I do believe that our law enforcement could use some better education. Maybe not go to their firearms as fast. But if somebody points a gun in my way and threatens me, yeah.
I get it. That's a meme that's on your post on your Facebook too about coming into your house. I know. I read it. I get it. I don't disagree. I understand.
But I don't believe what they were protesting today. They were there, unfortunately, to honor their lost one. There's nothing wrong with that. That's very admirable.
But you're saying there's stuff wrong with that when they're marching down
No,
the
no,
streets.
no. They were there in a place protesting. They weren't driving cars up onto the medians into people's yards, creating havoc and chaos.
But that doesn't happen
They were
all the time.
they were in a field having a protest.
So as
and
long as
honoring
they're away and they can essentially not be heard and
no, you're taking my words and you're misinterpreting them.
No, I'm taking your words and I'm interpreting them properly. If they're
Okay.
not walking on the streets, if they're not in the neighborhoods, and they're just somewhere far off in the distance, that part's okay. I hear
No.
what you're saying, CJ. You've said multiple times you don't like them in the streets. You don't like them in the neighborhoods. You don't want them walking around, walking on
Wait.
people's grass.
No, I said when it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and they're doing this stuff in people's neighborhoods where they don't even live.
Is it disrupting
It's
you?
wrong.
Is it disrupting you?
No, because I'm not there. Who cares? It's on them.
Well, you care because you come here.
I was.
See, I have a
coming
job to do, so I have to come here. You could stay home.
So, you get paid to do this?
Yeah, I do.
Did you get your cell phone taken care of?
Thanks. See, you pay attention to my page. I'm glad you're a follower.
Well, I have to watch everything you put out there, so this way I know where you're coming from too.
But you should watch what you put out. You should really lock your Facebook down.
Well, because I got some photos of some guns and me cracking some jokes off driving around?
No, but you put stuff out there that you were totally fine with, and then the minute you got outed, then you
No, it
deleted
wasn't because it was on me. It was because there was other people's names that were outed on your
But
live feed.
nobody knew who you were. We didn't mention your real name, your full government name. I actually didn't even mention your name, not once. So I don't know how you're getting.
Well, because
harassed.
the way you didn't edit any of the videos, most of the like Fox 6, TMJ4, they'll take a video and they'll make sure that any faces are blurred out to make sure for people's safety. Secondly, they make sure that there's only video that is put out there with no names on it. You just play it for what it was.
It's public access. Like, do you not understand that? So you driving?
No, I do.
You driving on
I
the
do,
street?
but I understand more about where you're coming from.
You driving on the street? You're in public. You have no expectation of privacy. I can film you all day long. Your truck,
Right.
you, everything. But you have a problem with that. You made a video that you live streamed, which is public. So live streaming it on a public platform, and you didn't lock the video down. Anybody,
Because
in
the names that
world-
were mentioned were all friends of mine on my Facebook.
Anybody in the world could have watched your live stream while you were live streaming. Anybody. That's what I'm saying. Your Facebook is not locked down. It is not protected. Anybody could have seen that. You were fine with it for those nights until you got outed.
No, I was.
You mentioned
I
people's
wasn't
names.
fine with it until the way you tried putting in your own perspective to what it was.
Took your words exactly.
No, you.
But see,
took,
you're trying
you
to
took
blame
my
me
words
for-
and you tried to blend it with your words, where you wanted the story to go.
Negative.
You tried making a mountain out of a molehill.
No, you said that in a text message to me.
Hey, it's a good figure of speech. My grandma used to use it all the
It
time.
is a good one. They make the mountain. You did. And then tried to pass the blame on me.
No,
You did it.
no. The only thing I'm trying to state is fix some facts. because the way you have the facts set up, you're trying to make this gigantic story. This guy has got a lot of issues.
I didn't say you had issues.
Well, you're trying to take my building blocks and try to make something out of them.
You created it, not me.
No, like I said, you can label a lot of things and put it out there. You know, people can assemble things however they want.
I know, I just took your Trump Tower, and then I just showed everybody the Trump Tower.
My Trump Tower?
Yeah.
What's my Trump Tower? Enlighten me.
Your building blocks. We'll call it the Trump Tower.
Oh, the Trump Tower. See, now we're gonna use a Trump metaphor, like the Trumper thing. I don't know where the hell that came from, but it's kind of funny.
But I'm just saying, your messages to me, you're casting blame on what I did. You're deflecting all of that onto me. I didn't do anything.
No, but
other than
you try to
draw more awareness.
No, you try to take what gun you had seen me post about, which is legal. It's a legal gun. It's registered.
I'm sure it is. 100%.
And then you try saying this gun was this and this and this, and this is what I'm driving around with.
Because you
like I'm
referred to
actually
it-
out there trying to be some vigilante.
Because you referred to it as an AR in your video. I did
Layman's
not,
terms.
I did not call
Layman's
it,
terms.
says the gun expert.
So a truck can be called a pickup, but no matter what, at the end of the day, it's a vehicle.
A pistol should be called a pistol, and a handgun, a long gun should be called a long gun.
But it's not a long gun, technically.
I know. But I'm saying I used your words. Yours. I didn't inject
Right, which
my
I
words.
use as a figure of speech.
There's a lot of figure of speeches in your videos.
Well, there's a lot of things that seem like they're one thing, but then when you look at them at a different person's perspective, you could really manipulate something that it's really not.
I don't think we manipulated anything.
See, like somebody, like a homeless person sitting on a bench. You get out of your vehicle and you go up and give them $20. Now, is that guy doing that just so he feels better about himself, or is he actually
Maybe he
truly
is.
trying to help somebody on the side of the street?
Maybe he is.
I mean, I know many times I get on my vehicle and help somebody push their vehicle out of a ditch. It doesn't matter who they are. Somebody is in need, I'll go out and give a hand.
I believe genuinely that. I believe that you are a
But
very
then you see some people-
genuine person that wants to help people, and I believe that genuinely you want to be able to help law enforcement and first responders. I genuinely believe that. What I also genuinely believe is that driving around Wauwatosa in the middle of active protest or riots under curfew, that genuinely you are looking for trouble and a reason to react.
But see, where I was at, there were no protesters.
There, what? Your videos
When-
show you behind protesters. What are you
Well,
talking
on
about?
what video? There's on the video that when you and I were both, when you were behind me, when I drove down that street,
that video, sure.
there was no
But how many
protesters
videos
over there.
did we show where you're by protesters? In your videos, you're actually antagonizing protesters too.
Antagonized, and I flipped to you and I took off.
You waited for them, CJ. We watched the video.
I was watching to see where they're going at the Century.
you
You see if they were going to break in that window.
you-
Because
your
guess
fiance
what?
yelled at you,
Those,
CJ. Do you
those
understand that?
protesters had just originally broke into the gas station, the Speedway on 92nd and Center, and they came from there moving their way up.
I saw that. I watched that.
Was that okay?
No, it's not.
But that was the same peaceful protesters.
It's obviously not peaceful.
Obviously, yeah,
Right,
I
but
would
I'm-
agree with that.
But I'm saying there's differences in peaceful protest and there's a difference in a riot.
So it's okay
There's
for other
also a-
people to be driving their vehicles out, but if I go out and get mine, I'm the one
No,
that's
if there's
centered
actually
out of the
if
group.
there's actually illegal, no, you're centered out of the group because if you and your flag flying buddies get to just do what you want, while protesters get arrested, get snatched up, get kidnapped, and taken to random police departments, get grabbed by FBI, ATF. That's a problem. It's a problem. But back to the videos.
I see.
But back
I
to
see
the-
your perspective on that one.
But back to the videos. Your fiance
So
yelled at you
if
for
somebody
antagonizing
does something
protesters.
and doesn't get the whistle blown on them, it offends you. So you want to make sure that whoever puts their hand in a cookie jar and grabs something, they should be scolded.
No, I want the playing field to be equal.
Well, yeah, that's what you're saying. So, if you have a brother,
Well, you should
and
as
you guys
well.
are both in the kitchen,
You should as
but
well.
your brother grabs a cookie and you don't get one, you're gonna go tattletale. So,
Nobody's tattletaling, CJ.
well, no, but that's what you're saying because I'm out there. I shouldn't be out there because I'm not a journalist or a press, so I have no reason to be out there because I don't live in that town.
Well, you don't. You have no reason to be out there.
But see, when I was on Capitol, I wasn't in Wauwatosa anymore. I was in Milwaukee, right?
I get that.
And when I was watching and see where they're going, because unfortunately,
And you antagonized them.
I did not antagonize them.
You did. You waited for them
Let me
to come.
see.
You waited for them to come.
Okay, now
And then
when
you peeled
the
out
white
so that
Christ-
your diesel exhaust smoke could fill up the area. Your fiance yelled at you. It's on the video.
That's
CJ.
smoke.
Right.
It's a diesel truck.
Your
It's going to
intention-
smoke if you take off.
Right, but
Because
even your
I had-
words, watch what I'm about to do, and then your fiance is yelling at you, and then you did it. You're
She yells at me
intentionally-
a lot,
I'm
for
sure
sure.
I can imagine why.
I'm like a big kid sometimes.
I believe that. But you intentionally were trying to antagonize.
Well, technically, when I was setting their videotape and I'm coming up and I was looking at all the guns, I had a vehicle pull up on me that had their gun pointed their gun at me. It was a 12 gauge sawed-off shotgun.
I heard.
Let me see.
and
That's not legal.
I heard, and you freaked out and you drove off. I would have too. Did you call 911? No, because you got plenty. You got more ammunition than anybody out in the crowd. That was also said in
technically,
your video.
even if I call the cops, you're not allowed to come in there and do anything. The military is not allowed to do anything. They're ordered to stay at bay. So if you're in that group and something like that happens, you're on your own, buddy. But did you hear me say, I have a gun in my truck? No. I was like, wow, they want to point guns. So
No, I
guess
did
what?
hear
I'm
you
gonna
say
leave.
that. I did hear you say that you have more ammunition in your vehicle than they do in the entire crowd. It's in the video.
Did I say that?
Yeah, buddy. I might have paraphrased a few of the words, but yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I have 6 mags in my truck. But I also take that same gun when I go shoot at the range, so it's a lot easier to transport magazines with ammunition in it, because when you're at the range, I don't know if you ever go to shoot guns at the range.
Do you understand, if you and I were having a conversation, okay, and it was, hey, I'm going to go to the shooting range, I'm taking all these different types of firearms, I'm taking X amount of ammunition.
You don't take multiple firearms to a shooting range.
Whatever.
You take what gun you're going to be shooting
Okay, well, I don't know.
to sight it in to make sure everything's right. And it's easier because when they blow the whistle and you got to go change out your target, you can't sit there and reload. You got to reload while it's the time to be shooting.
Right, yeah.
So it's easier to have loaded mags. So, and I go shooting at the range every weekend.
When you're transporting them in the car, it's easier to have the loaded magazines.
Yeah, you can have bullets in your magazines.
Stuck inside the gun.
No, it's not. I don't drive with my truck with my magazine in my gun.
All right.
The only reason why I put the mag in the gun is because of what had happened. And I didn't want to have anything happen to us because of somebody coming up and doing something.
What had happened?
Well, between the 12 gauge and the other people having their actual ARs.
So you put the loaded magazine in the gun.
That magazine was not loaded. I can have a magazine in the gun because it is a pistol, and I can transport a loaded pistol.
Okay.
But if you notice on the video, if you slow it down, it was not chambered. I think Daniel even pointed that one out. Did you end up blocking him?
No, I like Daniel.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he even seen in the video that it wasn't even the same gun that you had shown in what was in the video. And he
It looked
even...
like it. And you're referring to an AR in the back of the truck. I mean, we've been over that. But it's one thing if we're having a private conversation, we're going to sit and we're going to eat a burger, share a burger and a beer together, and you're talking about going to the range and bringing 1,000 rounds with you, right? It's
No,
totally
that's too
different.
expensive.
Whatever. It's totally different conversation and different context than holy fuck, this guy's got a shotgun pointed at me. Oh, it's okay. I have more ammunition and firepower in this vehicle than everybody in that group. And then driving around.
No, I didn't say I had more ammunition, firepower in my truck than that group.
You should watch your videos, CJ.
Maybe go back over the video. So is it wrong to have a lot of ammunition? You know, what you do with the way ammunition prices is, do you know a 9mm shell is almost $1 a shell now? So what you do when you see it on discount, you buy it.
Okay.
What else you got?
Is there anything in those videos that you regret saying?
Names. The video actually pointing at me, showing who I was, which you should actually ban as a respect of journalism. Make sure that faces were not seen. But hey, you know, it doesn't matter to you because you're just trying to get your story and pay your bills.
I don't
I understand
edit videos.
that.
I don't edit videos. Your video was public. You did that.
Yeah, that's the same thing that the news do. But you know what? They blur people's out of respect. You're just trying to make a name for yourself. And I understand that.
It has nothing to do with that, CJ. And I'm telling you right now, I don't give a fuck about being famous. I don't. I don't do this for views, likes, and fucking follows. I don't care anything about that. I don't. You driving around on the streets in the middle of a curfew and got filmed, that's on you. You have no expectation of privacy. You live streaming the same as we're doing right now and didn't block your video to only your friends, which you can do. I'm more than happy to show you how to do that. That's on you. The stuff you said in your videos, that's on you. Anybody could have watched those videos. Anyone in the entire world. Anybody. While you were doing it or even now.
Like you said, you know,
they can still
you were
go on
live
right
feeding
now.
and the police, I guess, supposedly found you because of your live feed and they came and confronted you. I guess if I was doing something wrong, I guess the police would have confronted and found me then, right, too?
Not if you're flying flags off the back of your truck.
Oh, there we go again. Back with the flags. Can you actually specify the flag? I say American flag, please.
Sure, American flag.
Okay, that's what I had on the back of my truck was American flag, right?
And what is happening right now is that as long as you're flying that flag,
But America doesn't...
or a blue line flag, or a first responder flag, you don't get fucked with by the police. You don't get pulled over. You don't get shot. You don't get arrested.
Maybe that's what some of the rioters should do. Maybe they should have fly American flags so they don't get fucked with, and they can go break in and loot whatever they want. Right? I mean, come on.
It's discrimination.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
You understand there's discrimination going on. That's what the story was. I didn't give a fuck who you were. I really didn't care. The story was about discrimination.
The reason why I pulled
how white people carrying flying American flags.
See, now that's racist.
It's not racist.
You're specifying a color. You're specifying a race.
Because I'm
that's
pointing
racist.
out. It's not racist.
Okay.
I'm pointing out exactly what's happening. Do you understand that?
I'm trying to see your side to it. I really am. But I understand where you're coming from.
As long as you're white and you're pro-police, you don't get fucked
I'm not white.
with.
I'm German. I'll tell that to anybody.
I know. We heard your nationalities in the truck. I'm aware. You wanted to fly your German flag too.
Okay.
And your wife wanted to fly the Polish flag. I got it. I know.
But see,
I know what's said in the
we're
videos.
two different people, then, you know, but yet we find each other.
I know. I'd encourage you to find, some of these protesters and support their First Amendment
I
right.
actually have quite a few friends that are standing up and doing that. You think I just hang out with truck buddies?
I mean, on your Facebook page, that's what it looks like.
But see, that's what
Your
you're
truck
trying to do.
buddies
You're trying to put me
all over
You're trying to put
Facebook.
me out as a white supremacist, and
I'm
as you
not.
call the truck buddies
I'm not.
the Proud Boys when you were at Quick Trip.
I didn't call them Proud Boys. Pay attention.
And
Pay attention to the
in
words.
one of your live video feeds,
I did not.
You were like,
I did not.
This supposedly might be the Proud Boys,
I said
or who
possible.
Okay, there you go, possible. But see, you're trying to throw that out there. I need to entice. I need to make up a name. I need to throw a name out there to get more enticement, more people. I need about followers.
I already told you I don't give a fuck about followers.
Yeah.
And if you watch that video, I specifically said these are not Proud Boys. These are
But
fucking
see, then
kids.
then
I also saw some of them in your video, so it's all right.
What, Proud Boys?
No, the people at the thing. Nobody said Proud Boys. I never accused anybody of being a Proud Boy.
What
I've
people
never
did
said
you see that was
racist.
at
I've
the
never
thing?
said
I'm
racist.
kind of confused.
I've also
on that
not
one.
called you a white supremacist.
Well, no, you were saying I promote.
No, I did not. I did not.
Look at.
Please make sure. See,
at the
here's
very
the
beginning
thing.
of one of your videos,
Nope.
you're
thing.
trying to label me as a white supremacist.
Definitely did not.
Flying
Definitely did
flags.
Not. See, I can recite your words specifically. Fact. You, however, cannot. So when you try to recite what I'm saying, make sure it's accurate. Because not once.
But I see what you're trying to promote me as.
I'm trying to get your version of the story, and none of it adds up to the videos that we released.
It doesn't add up to what you want it to be.
No, it sounds like you're making excuses for your own actions and behaviors and then trying to cast blame on somebody else when you got outed.
I wasn't blaming anything on anybody else.
You've blamed me. You blamed me multiple times in the text messages, and you blamed me multiple times for outing your videos. I'm just pointing out to you that
Well, no, you're
did that.
just trying to take what video you can get your most juice on and stick it out there.
Nope.
It's kind of like fishing.
Nope.
You like to fish, don't you?
Yeah.
Try different bait. That's what videos are. They're bait for a journalist.
I took all of the videos of you going out in the middle of curfews or had anything to do with you out during riots and protests. Okay. Those are the videos that I took.
Okay.
I just took your videos that you publicly put out there.
Did you see me do anything wrong except for break a curfew? I mean, honestly, what did you see me doing wrong other than breaking curfew? Seriously. I'll go to the police department and tell them I broke curfew for 2 nights. Write me a ticket. What is it, a $250 ticket?
I don't fucking
Maybe
know.
I can ask Jay-Z to pay for my ticket because I was in Wauwatosa and I got a ticket there, right?
That sounds ignorant.
Oh, that's ignorant now. Okay, but see, that's the way you look at things. You know, everybody looks at something completely different.
Why don't you go to Wauwatosa?
Okay.
Tell them you violated curfew,
Okay.
and you'd like to experience the same exact thing that the protesters are experiencing.
I've been in jail quite a few times when I was younger
I'm
for
not
doing
talking
stupid
about that.
shit.
I'm gonna tell you right now, brother.
I remember
jail is
when
not a fucking thing compared to what they're dealing with.
Oh,
When they're getting arrested, when they're out there, I'm telling you right now, jail is comfort then at that point. You know why? Because they're not fucking anywhere near them. Would you go to a protest with me? As long as it's peaceful. I won't bring you to a riotous activity because I don't even like fucking being there. Would
I'll
you
go
come
to a peaceful
to a protest?
I got no problem. I've been to a couple of the protests.
You'll come and you'll watch, you'll observe,
I'll watch.
you'll see.
But honestly, when people are protesting, I understand they're trying to speak their mind and their piece, which is admirable. But when it goes from a peaceful protest and it goes into reckless driving, flying up on people's lawns,
It's criminal behavior, and I get it. And
vandalism,
100%, and I
that's
agree with
not
you.
peaceful protesting.
I agree with
In
you.
one of the videos, you noticed that my friend, she mentioned that when she spoke to one of the reporters, that they said this was actually a pretty peaceful protest, and that was right after they had looted the Speedway on 92nd and Center. But that was actually pretty peaceful.
Per a reporter.
Yeah.
Have you watched my videos? Because I explain exactly what's happening. I tell the truth. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what side it lands on.
I did notice there's one reporter that actually takes a good amount from both sides, which is that Katie Kate Live, I think her name is.
Okay.
She actually was at the Trumper rally. I guess it's labeled now, right? The Trumper rally.
Sure.
And she was interviewing, unfortunately she interviewed some people that were not very bright. They didn't even realize what they were really trying to protest against or stand up for. I mean, it was their first time on even voting this year. So, I mean, I applaud them. But you and I both know this is going to get worse before it's going to get better. This is just simmering right now.
It doesn't help when you guys drive around when you're not supposed to. It doesn't help when law enforcement keeps attacking.
I will actually apply for my journalism permit so I can actually be out legally. Would that make you better? Would that make it better for you? If I'm out past curfew?
When you understand the laws behind journalism, yeah, sure. There's no permit.
I've been seeing quite a few of the journalism, the news people that's out there. Doesn't seem like it'd be too hard to do. I mean, you just take somebody's video, turn in what you want, you throw it up on your Facebook page or your live feed, or you videotape some people, you walk around, you stay out past curfew because now you have an honorary badge to stay out. So now you got your hall pass, so you can be out.
You should get a fucking hall pass then, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to apply for my hall pass because you know what? There's actually a lot of people like watching my live feed, so.
I'm sure there are. You had some views on there. Yeah.
And I guess if I was doing anything wrong on there, as you say, I guess they would have found me and arrested me, right?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to point out.
Because I have the American flag, that is my hall pass.
You're white, and you have
that's
flag
great.
flying off.
I got a 3-foot by 5-foot hall pass hanging off the back of my truck.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You have 2 of them.
Ooh. Well, that's for my passenger.
Yeah.
So I got to have 2.
Right. There you go. All right. So you'll come to a protest with me?
Yeah. Send me a message.
Will you take me to a rally? Truck rally?
Sure.
Trumper rally? Okay. All right. Last question.
Sure.
Are you part of any official organization? Like Proud Boys?
No.
Boogaloo Boys?
I swear to God,
KKK?
I'm not. No.
Are you a white supremacist?
No, I am not.
Right. Anything you want to say to the viewers before?
Well, I hope people got what they wanted to see out of it. I hope that maybe I was able to shed a little bit of light of why I was doing what I was doing. And hopefully, I don't get any more obscene phone calls and threats against my family. And my friends don't get threats against them.
Should hand that over to the police department and the FBI.
I think they got bigger fish to fry.
Maybe.
Well, today is Friday, Friday fish fry. No pun intended.
No pun. All right. Well, CJ.
It was interesting.
Thank you very much.
You got my messenger. I got your phone number and information, so
yeah.
Just because you're still in town for a little bit longer till the money runs out.
A little bit longer, but I'm back and forth, so yeah.
So just message me, and I don't know when the next Trumper rally is. It's kind of a goofy thing to say.
It is. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. We're gonna end this here, and you guys have a great night.